Oh man. Oh man. Oh man! For this versus battle, I'm going to be taking the characters at their peak and giving them what I believe is the highest but most reasonable tier of power. It should already be given that these characters' baseline are planetary and FTO, which I will elaborate more in the video as to why, but just know for people that believe that it's impossible for these characters to be in this tier of power and it's impossible for them to destroy planets, or some cringe argument like on some like Goku's only planet level BS, I'm sorry, go cry somewhere else. I really don't want to hear it, bro. And the same thing applies to the people who think that Naruto, Luffy, and Ichigo are like multiversal and they can beat Goku individually. For these individuals, please do me a favor and just get off the video. I do not want to deal with you in the comments. But with that out of the way, let's do it! Now, I'm gonna start off with Naruto first, because for some reason people think I hate Naruto and I'm biased towards One Piece when literally that's just not true. I have made claims that I probably wouldn't agree with now, but I mean that's just kinda how it is with arguments constantly changing over time. But Naruto at his best would upscale from characters like Kaguya, with her truth-seeking orbs being capable of destroying planets. Base Kinshiki and Toneri are also capable of performing feats like this, who weaker versions of Naruto could deal with. Even after his chakra being drained and Sasuke using a lot of his chakra after teleporting everyone to the battlefield, they were making Momoshiki baby rage during their battle. Momoshiki was capable of absorbing Kaguya's dimension, which included things like stars and celestial bodies. Naruto at best, without being disingenuous, could be in the solar system range, but for sure he's at least higher than large star. And again, for those who think Kaguya and Momoshiki are universal, please click off this video and have a horrible day. As for speed, well, Momoshiki absorbing said stars would have to require at least MFTL plus speeds, which is consistent since even before Naruto entered the war, he was way into light speed and got amped to a ridiculous degree. Baron mode Naruto would fart on Momoshiki, so he'd obviously upscale from these feats. As for hacks, well, Naruto obviously can clone himself 1,000 times over, has multiple forms of Duraneg with Magnet Release, Rasen Shuriken, and Truth-Seeking Orbs, which I will give him for this battle. Truth-Seeking Orbs are capable of not only destroying your body, but also your soul, as we see Minato's ghost not having an arm due to being hit with a Truth-Seeking Orb. On top of all of this, he can attack from all ranges essentially, has mastery over every basic chakra nature, precognition, enhanced senses, and can fly, which weirdly enough, these three are all capable of doing. Naruto is a beast, but is he Himothy? Next up, we got my GOAT, Luffy. Monkey D. Luffy is a character I have discussed on the channel before, so I'll make this section very brief. Old Whitebeard can destroy the entire One Piece world, which has been calculated to be at small star. Luffy in Gear 5 scaling to Kaido, who's relative to this Whitebeard bare minimum, would scale to this, and due to upscaling from his earlier versions that can dodge light, and use Gear 2, which is a 10 times multiplier, and then Gear 4, which is at least 3 times higher than Gear 2. Plus, Luffy legit surpasses his Gear 4 self in base 2 times in the series, once in Whole Cake and again in Wano, meaning bare minimum Luffy is definitely moving in the MFTL plus ranges, which is over 1,000 times into light speed. As for hacks, the most important things to note going into this battle are his Future Sight, Advanced Armament, and Conquerors, which can hit through characters' durability. However, we know that he can't just one-shot characters way stronger than him, as Kaido was taking a bunch of Duraneg attacks due to being built different, and one can argue, but hockey, but for these versus battles, we normally equalize the energies to make things simple and not get into those, oh, he doesn't have chakra, or oh, they technically can't see Ichigo. Come on, guys, we are past this buffoonery. Come on, this is caveman stuff. Come on, let's keep evolving. Gear 5's Toon Force and wacky abilities are obviously factors that could give Luffy the edge if he's especially significantly above his opponents. Lastly, we have Ichigo Kurosaki, who is another character I've talked about, but not nearly as much as Luffy. Ichigo by the end of Blood War is basically the strongest dude around, being above the likes of Yamamoto. The same man who's capable of destroying the Soul Society passively with his Bankai, which represents the living world, and we know in the same place there's a night and day cycle, meaning there are also stars in the Soul Society. This argument is a little shaky for a lot of people, but this is pretty much the bare bones planetary Bleach scaling, besides using the movie stuff, which I don't don't really like doing, but we're going to be using it anyway. The reason why it's a little shaky is because we don't know the exact time frame of when Yamamoto was going to destroy the entire Soul Society. I would assume that because they kept threatening that it would destroy the Soul Society, maybe it was going to happen over a short period of time, but we can't really just depict a time frame. However, generally people do accept this as planetary, and characters like Butterfly Aizen and Blood War Kenny should scale above this version, with Ichigo scaling above them tens of times over due to his increase in power. And even in the second movie, which is canon, an explosion goes off that is strong enough to destroy a small star, which you can get up to solar system through upscaling with the multipliers in the series, which I'll just get into now because I have brought this up in my previous Bleach videos, and this also kind of helps me get through Ichigo's AP and speed at the same time, so let me cook. The difference between Shikai and Bankai is a 10 times difference. The Hollow Mask, along with any of Ichigo's other significant power-ups, would have to be at least a 10 times increase, since they are implied to be more significant than Bankai. And we know this because even forms like Vasto Lorde, which isn't even Ichigo's strongest form, is unlike anything that Uryu's ever seen before. And guess what, guys? He'd just keep getting stronger and stronger. Now, I went over as to why this applies to AP because, you know, it's all based on destroying a small star in the second movie, which is canon. But what about speed? Well, to put it simple, I mean, we just take all these multipliers and then we just apply it to Ichigo in the Soul Society arc, who should upscale from this guy who can dodge an actual beam of light. Pretty self-explanatory. I mean, Ichigo pre-Soul Society is apparently implied to be blocking spiritual light, and even the homeless Espada are shooting light speed attacks. Like, it's pretty common knowledge that these characters are well into light speed. As for hacks, well, I mean, we know in Bleach characters are just dinking each other's souls, and if characters aren't up to par, then their souls are literally getting blinked away by the opponent. For this battle, I'll say that Ichigo can't do that if he's capable of doing so, and instead, I'll just say that his soul hacks is mainly going to be applied with his Ryatsu, and if his attacks connect, then yes, it would affect their soul. Aside from that, he's resisted the likes of Aizen's attacks, which affect your soul on an atomic level, and can even resist Aizen's Ryatsu, which erases people's very existence if you're weaker than him. Has precog thanks to Kisuke's training, plus insane senses similar to our other combatants. Let's get ready to rumble! It's clear looking at it initially that Luffy is sadly not holding up to par to the other two with their peak scaling. Solar Luffy, I think, is a big reach, and at best for now we can only say he's well into star level. Luffy may be down, however he wouldn't be completely out, as his Duraneg and speed to keep up with them could be factors for him maybe winning. However, due to Naruto's insane regen plus Ichigo's insane power gap, I really don't think these factors matter all that much. And at best, Luffy would be relative with Naruto if you believe that solar system is a reach for Naruto, and you can only say that he's star level. Regardless, Naruto scaling is just more valid. And Ichigo is the only one out of the three, in my opinion, who has scaling that's concretely into solar system level due to the amount of amps he gets in the series. And with these increases, I wouldn't be surprised if Ichigo was faster than them. However, relative or not, Ichigo would just be so much more powerful than the other two that his Ryatsu would just turn them into pixie dust. In terms of soul hacks, there's really no way to say that these two have any way of resisting what Ichigo has, especially with the gap in AP. Like, Bleach is literally known for their spiritual stuff. Trying to say Naruto and Luffy would outdo them in this department is silly. If these three are moving in to clash at each other in a three-way struggle, then Ichigo is more than likely able to neg both of them in just one swing with his sword. Bro is literally the Charmander of this versus battle. Ichigo slaps them both. Stay mad. Also, it doesn't matter. One Piece is